So
Ranked Hunter tier list.
ranked
Okay?
Hunter tier list from
This is
Zapman.
if you want to climb from bronze to gold and beyond. Okay, gold to diamond, diamond to masters. All right.
So he says this is what to follow if you want to climb from bronze to masters. AMC.
Amusing Cobb.
He puts him in an
Amusing
interesting
Cobb. Where
spot.
we put him? One of my favorite guns. S plus. We're actually gonna put him AMC in S. Do you want to know why, chat?
Let's listen to the comments.
The important thing in ranked is to have pressure, and to have wave clear pressure and kill pressure. And AMC
That's where I kind of disagree.
has extremely fast clear on the buffs, extremely fast clear on the wave, and he's actually one of the hardest gods to gank. If you max his hives, you should max your hives as AMC. He's very lane dominant, very team fight
What up,
dominant.
Disney? Thanks for the
very
follow,
easy
Twister.
to farm the map when you get ahead. Literally max your hives and play him with any build. It doesn't matter, and you will dominate. I promise you. And he's very fast. He's insane. Yes, max hives first.
Okay, this is what I was thinking, right? And he says that like pressure is really good in ranked, which I kind of agree with. But here's the thing with pressure, right? With pressure comes responsibility to do something with that pressure. Like I think a lot of low ranked players, they'll play a pressure god and they might get lane pressure, but they like if you have lane pressure, you're more likely to get ganked. You're more likely to like get ganked. You just get ganked more since you have pressure. And you also like even if you have pressure, you don't necessarily get a lead because even if you clear the wave first, if you don't know how to like go to like alpha, if you don't know how to invade the Scorp, invade alpha, maybe invade purple, rotate to oracles, like if you don't know how to do anything with pressure, then pressure doesn't matter. Right? You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think if you have pressure and you don't play around ganks, you don't look at your map, you will get ganked and you will die. Especially with AMC. I think if you don't know how to use your pressure to get map control and buff control or rotate, then there's no point in getting pressure. I think there's like two playstyles in ranked you can kind of go for. You can kind of like I think there's two playstyles, right? You can play to win lane, you can play to invade buffs, you can play to use your pressure and snowball and kind of just snowball the lead, right? Or you can kind of just like honestly, I think it's easier to just buy gilded in lower ranks and just farm and stay even, get items, and then carry late game. Because like when you don't have that high of MMR, you don't really need to win lane and hard carry. Like that's my thoughts. I would say that like pressure's not bad. I'm not saying pressure's bad. And also like you will win games off pressure if your mid jungle have pressure and then you guys just invade everything and get big leads. But also it's kind of just easier to just you don't have to buy gilded, but like just the gilded playstyle of just sitting back and farming for 20 minutes and playing defensively on the back foot, I think that's easier, you know? So I personally would never put AMC S tier. I'll pull up my tier list too that I did a few weeks ago. So this is my tier list. I put AMC in playable because I do think AMC is good. I actually think AMC is playable and is good. I just don't think he is top tier where it is true that you'll get pressure. It is true. But I think that in low ranks, they don't know what to do with pressure. And having pressure equals getting ganked more, which equals tilting more, which equals losing more, you know? That's what I would say to that AMC.
First, and then come back to me if you doubt it. He is extremely top tier in ranked.
I also think there's some gods that just shit on AMC. If you're top 2 pick and you pick AMC, man, it's like Fenrir, Rat, Loki. There's a lot of gods. Sobek,
and you will
Ganesh.
not if you play him. Next up
in
is
my
On
opinion.
Her.
On Her, I agree
my
with
boy.
Honor.
On Her,
Yeah.
S plus in ranked.
Yep, I
Why?
agree with that.
He has insanely strong clear, especially because of his passive. That gives him, I think, 20 flat pen. He's extremely dominant in lane. He is the best god, or one of the best gods to 1v1 with. He's decently hard to gank. Usually, he can kill junglers very easily. Level 9 is an insane power spike for him.
Yep.
You can pretty much 1v1 any other hunter in the game easily. And overall, he's just a fucking beast.
All true. All true.
Next.
Agree with that. I think everyone knows On Her is top tier right now. He gets spammed a lot. You auto win every matchup mid game, and if you want to play to win lane, honestly, pick AMC. Pick Honor, don't pick AMC.
Apollo's definitely up there, but I feel like if you're against a good ADC, you might get dumpstered.
I kind of disagree with this Apollo.
What do you guys think about Apollo?
Personally, I have Apollo up there.
He has a lot.
In my tier list, I have Apollo up there, but I wouldn't recommend him that much for ranked. Well, no, actually, he's really good in ranked, but the only problem is you lose lane, like, you lose matchups, right? So if you're against someone who plays aggressive and plays to bully, then you'll fall behind.
I'm going to put him in S.
I agree with the S. I just don't think AMC should be.
He's close to S+. I think he's S+ in the jungle, in my opinion. When you global alt as an Apollo in ranked, it could be very dangerous.
That's a good point, too. You need to know how to global alt. Like, you can't just global alt off cooldown, you know?
And the other guy gets a wave, he gets your purple, he pushes your tower
If you lose more than you gain, then it's just bad.
It's actually very dangerous. Also, in the 1v1, Apollo's not that strong against a lot of gods.
True.
He loses to Anhur, he loses to Medusa, he loses to Cupid.
Everyone
loses
did.
To Kern,
yeah.
He loses to quite a few gods.
Hachi, AMC.
There's a lot of gods he loses to in the 1v1. And also, if the other ADC player is good, he can apply a lot of pressure on you, which makes it hard for you to actually use your ult effectively in the dual lane.
Yep, I agree with that. So maybe he should be lower.
If you get ahead on Apollo, though,
I still think he's pretty freaking dominant. Yeah, Artemis dog shit.
Listen, if you want to climb rank, don't pick Artemis.
True.
Okay.
Don't pick Artemis,
got bad
man.
Clear on the jungle. She's got no wave clear because
she's actually the only like immobile god that doesn't get pressure. She's just so bad.
Does not hit the melees or the archers at the same time. She gets dominated by a lot of gods. All right, we'll put him A. We'll put him A.
I'll see what he says, then I'll say something.
Kurnos is like, to me, he would probably be A+ if I had an A+.
Oh, doesn't he? He ended up putting him in A+.
One of the highest DPSing hunters in the game.
True.
He clears jungle very fast because of his passive.
True.
He wins a lot of trades because of his 1 and his passive.
And his 2.
Lane dominant.
His poke.
Beats a lot of matchups 1v1. But the biggest problem, his most obvious shortcomings, is that he doesn't have a CC immune ult, which means he's very susceptible to ganks.
But neither does AMC.
His dash is very short range, so it's easy for people to stick with him after he dashes. And for those reasons, we're just going to put him in A, not S.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I think CERN is really good into certain comps and really bad into others. He doesn't have CC immunity, but he has... Like, he's just really good in certain comps, really bad in others, man. If they have a lot of CC and, like, Ares and shit, he's bad. If they don't have that much CC and they're, like, they don't have root immunes, like Kabrakan, they don't have hard engage, he's really good. But honestly, in my opinion, he's better than AMC in ranked. If I were to tell someone to pick... I would tell someone to pick CERN before they pick AMC in ranked. Kind of does the same thing. Kind of wins lane. Kind of solos people. Kind of gets pressure. But... CERN, I would say, dies less. CERN can survive some ganks if you play the root and the ult and the dash correctly. Whereas AMC, if you're in position with AMC, your hives can be good, but if you're out of position and like they come under you, the hives won't do anything and you'll just die.
Bro, what's my record on Chiron this year?
Chiron is good, man.
S+? Chiron is actually a sleeper, dude.
Chiron is a sleeper, dude. Someone asked me that a few days ago.
No, Chiron's actually a sleeper. I'm tempted to put him S.
I think he's with CERN, though.
He's easily one of the biggest sleeper gods in the game.
You don't think Chiron's good, and then you play Chiron, and you're like, oh, that god's actually pretty good. On my tier list, I have him at playable, because I don't really have that many tiers in my tier list, but I think he's playable. I think he's... Honestly, my win rate's pretty high with him, too. I don't know what it is, but... I don't know if people suck at playing against him or he's just good or what, but he wins games, man.
He would be an A+.
Yeah, also big thing if you can use the cleanse effectively.
I'm going to put him...
But yeah, I think the passive upgrade is pretty decent. I kind of do like Chiron more than CERN, actually.
A+ tier. There's a lot of gods that are like...
Just for CC immunity. Kind of similar characters. Good burst. Good DPS.
Average clear in the jungle. His jungle clear is just average.
Yeah, you can cancel
But
Chiron.
he has one of the strongest level 2s in the game.
Yeah.
His 3...
Funny story.
You clear evenly with someone else, and you just 3 at the enemy ADC, and you have his steroid with his
dude.
Your autos are hitting for 70+.
Funny story. I actually played... I can't show you guys, but I played Chiron during the speedrun 2 days ago. And I actually did that. I got so many plucks during laning phase, I was like 3-0 at the start. It's hilarious.
Then you knock him back as displacement, which is very strong ability, especially against supports.
But yeah,
that don't have
Chiron's
escapes. Like
Chiron's
Mirror,
pluck is
or
actually
like
decent.
A Cerberus that's level 1 still, or Cerberus that gets his 1 and 2
Yeah.
at level 2 instead of his.
Yeah, I was against an Ares level 1. I just plucked him.
He actually has one of the strongest level 2 plays in the game.
I like his level 2. Yeah.
His recently buffed passive is insane for the early fights, and he has a CC immune alt. He's decently difficult to gank. His ultimate gives him a lot of presence in the late game team fights, when especially if your comp is diving and you can ult the backline. Very strong. Good sustain with his passive.
Chiron's level 3. Yeah.
Pretty dominant in lane.
Chiron's 1 to 5 is really good.
When you 1v1 against a Chiron, you have to make sure you can kill him and maintain at least half your HP.
Yep.
Because if a Chiron ults and kills you, he comes back to life. So it's actually very difficult to box a Chiron. Yeah, and again, because of his buff passive, he's very strong in lane. So I'm gonna put him A+.
I like
for
that.
Sure.
So just to recap, I agree with mostly everything so far, except for AMC. I would put AMC probably with CERN, maybe even lower.
Next up, Chernobog.
Chernobog's got to be up there with Apollo. I think Chernobog and Apollo are literally like almost the same character right now.
I'm gonna put him S with Apollo.
That's fine.
Chernobog he can lose lane. It just depends, really.
Yeah.
Chernobog actually has exceptional clear in the jungle if you start with his 2. You
He does have good
very
clear.
fast with your mid. You get to the purple faster. You get to lane early, and his passive actually helps him clear quite well. So he can do well in lane. And really, what it comes down to with
Global
Cherno
slow
is
is
if he has a
insane.
quality support player with him. If you're like Chernobog Geb, then Cherno's like an A tier god. But if you're like Chernobog and Cerberus, or Chernobog Ares, Chernobog Sylvanas, Chernobog Ymir, he's an S tier god.
Yeah, he needs a little help in the early game, but late game, it's just one of the best hunters for sure.
He actually has a lot of damage level 3 if you have 2 points in your 1 and 1 point in your 2. He has very
I wouldn't
good
recommend to do
follow-up
that, by
off
the
CC.
way.
He has a global ultimate to get.
I wouldn't recommend to put 2 points in your. I usually level Chernobog. I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 4. Yeah. Quick clarification, real quick, guys. I level Chernobog 2, 1, 3, and then I think I'm gonna start maxing the 2 now. Just a quick little insert here.
Team fights, an insane steroid for the late game as well. And if you do max the 2, you actually
I think Chernobog's stats pretty good. Yeah.
Other early game hunters.
Zap maxes the 2.
So
I kind of just sack the early game on Chernobog and just level the 1, and then by the time of mid game, I'm very strong. I just go for farm early.
Cupid's an interesting one, man. Cupid has fallen off the totem pole. I feel like Cupid has fallen off the totem pole, in my opinion.
Yeah, he kind of has.
He seems so slow. Cupid's a tough one.
No, you don't take damage.
He's won a lot of matchups, but he's also easy.
He does eat you though.
And ranked, in my opinion. No CC immunity. His dash it's a little bit better than Kurnanos. You know what? We're gonna put him A+.
I like that.
Cupid A+. Cupid has good jungle
I'll put
clear.
Cupid A+,
Right? He gets
maybe
lane
S.
relatively early. His clear
A+.
is decent. depending
Yeah,
if
I mean, you can
stack up
argue
the
Cupid
wave or not.
S. It's kind of. I don't really care to argue between these 2 ranks, but I put like in my tier list, I put
His fight is
Cupid
very
as top
good.
tier.
But a big thing that hurts Cupid, especially in ranked, is how
You don't
easily
take tick
he's
damage
ganked.
in the wall.
He has no CC immune ult. His ultimate doesn't really stop
Any mage AC valuable?
a
Nah.
lot of gankers in their tracks. And
Remember when Cupid was mean
what else
pick?
can I
Yeah.
say about him? He actually has quite a few bad matchups as well, like into Onher, Medusas.
Yeah.
Even Chiron, he's not that great into.
Yeah, I think Cupid fell off because other hunters got better. Like, I think Cupid kind of gets farmed by Danza on her. I guess just Danza on her, but like, yeah, I mean just Danza on her to be honest. Yeah, but I think Cupid's still top pick. But I also agree with everything he says.
Might have to
Before
give
he
it
goes,
a-
I'll tell you what I think. Personally, I think Danza is top tier. I don't think he is like insane. I think he's better than most of the average gods. I think he's up here with Cupid and these guys.
Danza has okay clear in the jungle. He's good in the lane as long as his support has decent CC. He has good follow up. Biggest thing is now though, if Danza ever falls behind, he's pretty much like chopped meat for the enemy teams. A lot of people are learning how to juke.
Yeah.
His ult is actually very easy to juke his ult. He's easily ganked
Artemis
by
unplayable, yeah.
walls. Ymir, what's it called? Kabrakan, very good into him. Guan Yu, very good into him.
True.
He loses matchups against On Her, Medusa, Hu Yi, very strong into him.
True.
And
the Hu Yi matchup, a little sketch. I'm not that sure about the Hu Yi matchup. Like, the Hu Yi matchup, I think Danza does pretty well on. Because I think your 3 countering the ult is kind of a big deal.
In the 1v1, as long as you know how to juke his ult, he's actually kind of useless. Because he can never hit you with his 1, he can never hit you with your 2, as long as you are a decent player. Very easy to juke.
That's true too. You really should never get hit by the 2 or the 1, if you can help it.
So, and from behind, he's pretty terrible.
He's pretty bad from behind,
with
yeah.
all those things said, I'll probably put him in A. As people learn how to play against Danza, you'll understand this more.
Yeah.
But if you're still kind of new against Danza, or you don't really understand, or you don't even know the juke of his ult, then he might seem a little bit stronger to you, but in reality, he's about average. Next up, Hachiman.
I'm cool with A+.
Oh, it hurts me, chat, because I love Hachiman so much. I love Hachi. Hachi is literally my favorite god in the game. But his jungle clear is low. His lane pressure is low. One of the biggest things he's got for him is that his 2 can hit the whole wave.
Mm-hmm.
His 2 can hit the whole wave. He's pretty relatively safe, but he doesn't really dominate any matchups.
Yeah.
Yes, he can do good, only if his team helps him. If his team helps him out a bit and he gets a little bit of a lead, he can snowball.
True.
He definitely can snowball with a little bit of a lead. He has good all-in. However, Hyra's also nerfed the ult into dash combo. Now you ult,
that's true too.
And you have to wait a little bit after the ult's over before you dash. And gives the enemy player time to react, to jump away, to beads, pre-beads, and things like that. So his 1v1 definitely got nerfed a bit with the delay from his ult into using another ability. The things he's got going for him is that he can play safe against almost any matchup.
Yeah, he's pretty safe.
It's hard for him to get ahead on his own. He needs a lot of help. And yeah, man, he's just a little bit worse. Last year I'd put him in A. He's just an average god that doesn't have really any bad matchups, but doesn't do really that well into anyone either. I would have put him at A last year, but because they nerfed his post fire off the ult, where you can't use another ability right away, I'm gonna have to put him in B.
I don't know if he's played since they kind of reverted that a little bit, but my opinion of Danza is, I mean not Danza, Hachi. Like I compare Hachi to CERN kind of. He would say CERN's better because his jungle clear is better. I personally don't know how important jungle clear is. I don't really think about jungle clear that much. I feel like everyone clears the jungle the same. I feel like at the start of the game, kind of the same. I think he's safer than Kern. I also think his all-in is kind of similar. CERN does have a little bit more damage, but Hachi's way safer. So I would equate Hachi and CERN. I have them both unplayable in my list. Hachi, CERN. I think they're okay, honestly. I think Hachi is annoying in lane because poke. That's how I kind of think these guys are similar because you just 2 the wave and the hunter and you kind of poke them and you kind of heal and your all in's kind of good. So it's kind of like just a battle of like poke, 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 all in. I think Hachi's all in is actually a little bit easier than CERN because CERN ult kind of sucks. So I would put Hachi A.
We got Heimdallr. Heimdallr, my boy. I played him a lot last year. Heimdallr he's almost S plus if he had a better. He would be S plus if he had a better all in. His all in is quite difficult because it's pretty easy to just keep your distance from Heim. He has no way to force the issue.
Yeah.
Yes, you can port into them, but it's so obvious when you're trying to port into them. If the other player has any experience at all, he knows if your 3 is right there and you're about to walk into your 3, you're going to 3 in front and try to port to him, right? And they just walk away. So if you're playing against noobs, though, that could be a very strong entry point. But otherwise, it's very hard for Heim to all-in other gods. One thing that Heim has going for him is that he always gets the lane first.
Yep.
If you're new, start with his 3. Put your 3 on the purple buff and then go to red. And then do the red with your mid, auto, 3, auto, and then teleport out to the purple. And then you will get to lane first.
I can't wait to talk about Heim, man.
And you'll have pressure. Very difficult to gank as long as you have good crystal placement. Heimdallr is only as good as how good you are with his 3, his crystals. His crystals is his playmaking. His crystals is his safety. So if you're good with his 3, he's S. If you're not good with his 3, he's probably like very low. Yeah, he's decent in lane, decent clear in the on the wave, decent clear in the jungle, very hard to gank, and he's very good late game, and he's good throughout the game. Just overall, really solid pick. Pretty much no weakness, but just because it's very hard to solo the other hunter as Heimdallr, unlike on her it's so easy to solo the other hunter, right? You literally just dash in, they dash away, you pillar, you ult, they're dead. And but that's just not the case with Heim, so we're gonna put him S. If he had a better all in, I'd probably put him S+ for sure.
Yeah, so I have Heim top pick. I personally think Heim is literally number 1 hunter, because even though he loses the on her matchup, I think the matchup's actually closer than people think. I think there's a lot of counterplay in that matchup, and I think always getting to lane first is a big deal, because honestly, because in ranked your support will die less often if you get to lane first and you just clear the way first. I think you do have to be really good with them though. I think you got to be good with the 3. I think you got to know when to all, like, there's the skill ceiling on Heim is just so high that I think he's number 1. I get what he's saying about not having an all-in in a 1v1, but I don't think it's that important, at least at high ranks, to have an all-in in a 1v1. Like, when you can 1-2 poke someone every wave, I think it's really good. Just having the 2 poke and, like, out clear is enough. And, like, just never being, like, you never have to care about getting ganked as Heim, man. It's so insane. Just place your portal near your tower, push up to the clear of the wave. You can do alpha, you can do purple, you can do their purple. You just always have an escape. It's just insane how good this god is. Safest god in the game, in my opinion, if you know how to place the 3. CC immune ult, knock up immunity, knock up, poke with the 1, wave clear with the 1. Pretty high DPS if you know how to auto attack cancel everything perfectly. Insane burst if you know how to alt 1 combo, if you know how to alt and then 1, 2, or 1 auto combo and they land. There's a lot to learn with Heim, but I think he would be S+, my opinion.
Sure. Okay. Who's next? Hu Yi.
Oh, yeah.
A+. Hu Yi has very good clear in the jungle, right? He gets the lane relatively quickly. Why he's not S is because he has no CC immunity in his ult. He's decently easy to go on in team fights, especially if he's just even with the front line. He actually can get bopped pretty easily by the front line. No CC immune ult, like I said, but what strengths he has is that he's insanely easy to 1v1 the other hunter with. You mark, you jump on them, it knocks them up, you stun them, and then you either ult them right away if they don't have an escape, or you just auto them because they're already half HP and they're behind you in the DPS, right? Yeah. So Hu Yi always has the initiative when it comes to the 1v1.
True.
And that's why I'd probably put him A+ instead of A. But his survivability is lacking a little bit. That's why he's not S, and he has no CC immune ult, and that's another reason why he's not S. And also his wave clear is just decent. Good in the jungle, but only okay in the lane. So we're going to leave him A+. Next up is my girl.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. In my tier list, I have Hu Yi at the playable section. I think he's pretty average. I mean, nothing really crazy about him. I really enjoy Hu Yi. I wish he was better. But he is lacking a lot of stuff, and I think, like, not being able to triple bounce red is really annoying. Being pretty hard to triple bounce purple is pretty annoying. Not really having any that good of, like, last season triple bounces even on, like, the jungle, you know, right next to your lane, they were way easier to do. I feel like the map was, like, made to make Hu Yi bad. I don't know, it's annoying. I wish the map was better for Hu Yi, but I agree. I mean, maybe you can argue A, but they're all playable. Honestly, the whole mid section I just kind of grouped together, but I agree.
Izanami.
He's a troll, man.
If there was an S++, that's where she'd go. Triple plus. Okay.
S triple plus, boys.
The reason being is she has decent jungle clear, okay, but she has the most insane wave clear known to mankind. And let me tell you one thing about ranked players, okay, about your average ranked player. Your average ranked player does not know how to give up stuff. Your average ranked player does not know how to give up pressure, bide their time, and wait till they're stronger than the Izanami. No. You know what they do? They try to clear the wave as you're AoE autoing them in the wave at the same time, and they're half HP and they don't know what happened to them. That's what happens in your average rank game, okay? And that is why Izanami's OP. Izanami will literally out-clear by a mile. You'll probably out-poke them because they're going to try to fight you. They're going to try to not let their wave go into tower because they're donuts. All right? And you'll probably get the first purple. She has the best steroid in the game in her 1. Her ultimate actually is very strong, does a shit ton of damage. She has an insane 1v1, especially if you get ahead. Her escapes are decent, and to be honest, she is prone to getting ganked, but you'll probably get so far ahead in the early of the game that it won't matter.
Okay, I'll talk about it now. Okay, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about AMC, but I feel like you have two opposing forces, right? You play a pressure pick, but you're more likely to get ganked on this side. Awesome. You have to know what to do with your pressure to make it worth. But yeah, you get pressure, you kind of force some stuff, you make their team rotate. It's like you got two clashing balls in my opinion. I think probably from like bronze to maybe plat, I agree with S+, but then probably plat and diamond, fucking down here with like down. Probably, do I even have her in playable? I might have her in unplayable. Not have her in playable, because she is good at lower ranks. But like, man, if you get pressure, you gotta know what to do with it. Low level players obviously don't know how to play against pressure, but they also don't know what to do with pressure. So I feel like it kind of averages out a little bit. So I kind of think she gets ganked if she has pressure, because if you're that low rank, you don't really know what to do with pressure. I know I said it a million times, but yeah, I mean, you're not just gonna like the other. You can get solo kills with Izanami too. Pressure's good, but pressure can be bad. So I don't know. I would say from bronze to plat, S+, okay. But then after that, if you're diamond or masters and you're still losing to Izanamis, you shouldn't be. A, B, something like that. What do you do with pressure? You clear the wave, and you have a few options. You either push the wave under tower to make them lose gold, or more than likely there's a buff up, either Scorpion, Alpha, Purple, Oracles, your buffs. You just, sitting on tower line can be bad. Look for buffs after pressure. Or rotate mid. You have a lot of options. Don't just clear the wave, sit there, and do nothing. That's I feel like that's what a lot of low level players would do. Yeah, you clear the wave fast, but then you're just gonna like slowly walk up and try to auto while they're backpedaling, and then you're gonna get ganked. You're not gonna go to Alpha, you're not gonna go to Scorp, you're not gonna go to Oracles, you're not gonna rotate mid, you're not gonna do your own camps, like,
because no one knows how to give stuff up. No one knows how to lose 2 waves, and then on the second wave when you both hit level 3, you jump in on her and you kill her because you just out damage her, right? Like Zen on her or like anything. Or, you know, if she's pushing you at your tower line, your jungler has a brain and rotates to your lane and ganks her, right? You know, those kind of things don't exist in ranked. And that is why she is S+. And that is why she is S+ in ranked. Okay, next up, Jingwei.
How about I explain my point, Izza? So the big disagreements right now are, what are they? Izanami AMC, I think lower, and I think Haji up a little bit.
I think I'm going to be putting her either A or B. The only reason why I might put her A is because her late game is just really good. But her early game sucks ass.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
But her late game's insane.
Somewhere in the middle. How would I build Izanami?
B+ if I had a B+.
Probably normal.
Should I make a B+?
Maybe Gilded Crit, maybe Devo's Crit, maybe Devo's Pen.
I'm making a B+, I don't care. Jingwei is a B+ god.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait. Okay. I had B+ lower than B. Okay. So Jingwei has decent clear in the jungle.
This is a tier list for 1500 MMR. He said bronze to masters, so kind of any rank.
Decent clear in the jungle. She gets the lane relatively quickly. But the reason why she's not that good in ranked is because she is not lane dominant. She loses pressure against most matchups. And in ranked, the early game is pretty much the most important thing there is.
True.
However, if you do get to mid game or late game, Jingwei really pops off. Or literally any god above this, she can get bullied out, lose her purple in the 1v1 very easily.
True.
The only thing she's got going for her is her safety. So I wouldn't really recommend her.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with AMC. I feel like there's two play styles, and Jingwei fits the second play style really well. Like, I feel like if you go Gilded Crit every game on Jingwei, you can probably easily carry up to Masters, like even Diamond or Masters probably. Like, you just play back and try not to lose purples and play on the back foot. But then you get late game and you just crit one shot everyone. No one really knows how to play against her, right? Like, frontliners are pretty bad at those ranks, so like, people probably don't build Spectral. Even if they do, you'll probably be fine. So I would just say, I think Janeway is one of the like most playable gods here. That's kind of why I put her first. Like, if you just play on the back foot, build crit, get late game, I feel like your team at those ranks also, like if your MMR is like 23-ish, like your team's not just going to lose the game for you at the start. Maybe like 1 out of 50 games or something, but I say just play Janeway, build crit, get late game, and you can probably do pretty well, climb pretty high.
I'm going to put her A+. She has average clear in the jungle, but she has very good lane presence. Her 2 can clear the wave and poke the enemy hunter at the same time. Her ultimate does the same. Her all-in is very insane. Her burst is very good in the 2v2, especially at level 2. Her 2 and her 3 at level 2 do a combined over 200 damage. And so that's very strong. She has a bit of an issue surviving, but she does just so much freaking damage that it might not even matter, especially in your average rank game. So we'll probably put her A+. Not quite S because, again, she has survivability issues. I'm going to put B+ because she's average in the jungle for jungle clear. She gets the lane at an average time. Her wave clear is decent. Her poke is decent. Her 1v1 is decent. But again, she's so unsafe. Even though they buffed her backflip where it's faster, it's still so telegraphed that it's so easy to follow. And people can play off her backflip very easily. She has no CC immune ult. So she's basically just Kronos, but a little bit weaker, and that's why she's B+. And in the late game team fight, she really suffers from that backflip. One thing that makes her, not a B is that her ultimate can affect the whole map.
Yeah.
And she has pretty good lane pressure. Her 2 allows her to box very effectively. Her 2 is like an an old Ichabal. So she's pretty good.
I agree with the B+. I agree with this 100%. Not much else to say about.
Chad, I'm going to put him A. I'm going to put him A, chat. Why? Because he has only average clear in the jungle, but he has a lot of pressure in lane because of astral arrows. He clears, he out-clears almost everybody, except for like Izanami. Also just depends if he gets the lane at a good time at the same time as the other hunter. He is very good at boxing, especially at level 9 when he's maxed out his astral arrows. You only got to get people to like half HP at level 9 before you can kill them with his ult, because his ult actually does a lot of damage, especially at level 9, level 2 ult. Biggest problem for him, though, is he's basically only an auto attack god. He doesn't really have any abilities to follow up off CC. So he doesn't do that well with other pressure supports. His skill potential is rather low. However, he can be very strong in the 1v1. It's easy to get ahead with Rama because he outclears so quickly, and then he can go into the jungle and get farm. His late game is very, very strong because his ultimate does like 1,000 damage.
My opinion on Rama is like, at like, kind of like with Izanami, like, from like bronze to like plat, I think Rama is okay and playable and A tier. But honestly, I think like diamond, maybe not diamond, maybe just like high masters, Rama's so bad because I think he loses all the 1v1s. I think he loses most 1v1s against top tiers. And I think he just dies so easy to ganks. And I find no success with Rama when I play him right now. Maybe next patch he'll move up for me, but A is fine right now, but I maybe can argue B+. I don't know. I don't find any success with Rama at all. I don't think he wins any matchups, and I think he just dies. I don't think he has that much damage in team fights either. And you're kind of just at the will of your team because you don't have any CC. Like, you just sit there and hope you don't get dove by too many people and hope your team kind of does something. But I don't think you can really carry that hard, to be honest.
All right, I think we're going to put Scotty S. And the reason being is her clear is good in the jungle. Her lane pressure is absolutely oppressive. Almost as strong as Izanami and on her. She literally does not lose any 1v1 matchup as long as you're not a donut. She can get ganked decently depending on the enemy comp, but if you have wards and you put your ice down to get that extra movement speed, she's similar to AMC. The only thing is AMC is constantly faster than Scotty is. Scotty, you need her 3
beers talking right now.
And I basically put her on par with AMC in terms of
what
she does in lane. She literally dominates lane, outclears everybody, outpokes everybody, outfights everybody pretty much. Can get ganked, but she can be decently safe. She has a root and a slow, and her ice is really good to get away from ganks in ranked, especially when teams are not coordinated. and she actually does pretty well into team fights as long as she doesn't get focused hard. But again, basically, when I say, ranked,
That statement I don't get. I don't know how Sky does good in team fights.
like, my biggest criteria in ranked right now are the early game, mid game kind of thing. I don't really take into account super late game because most ranked games end in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Rarely do you see them go super late. And even if it does go super late, most frontline are not coordinated. You wouldn't see a support get the Scotty's beads and all of a sudden the warrior and the jungler blink on her right after, right? You just don't see that in ranked. So I think she's actually relatively safe in that aspect.
Okay, I heavy disagree with the Scotty. I literally have Scotty at unplayable. I don't know how anyone wins this game with that god. To me, that god is just straight garbage. I would never pick her in my life. I would put her below Neath. I would put her B. Or is there a C? I don't even know. I would put her down so far. I don't think she really dominates 1v1s anymore. I don't think, like I think most people build Destal devs, right? Or something devs. A lot of lifesteal. I think Scotty's all in. I don't think you die to it. I don't think Scotty's build has that much damage anymore. And that's just the 1v1 phase. I think if Scotty all ins in a 1v1, most guys can back up, regen, lifesteal off next wave, be chilling. And then talking about team fights with Scotty, I think she's one of the worst team fighters in the game. The couple of times I played Scotty this season, I would win lane. I would get the early game lead. But then when I got in team fights, bro, 0 damage, 0 sustained damage. Your burst on a tank, maybe 30% of their HP. Garbage, I think. Garbage. I think you just get dove. You can't even 1v1 an assassin. Like, I don't know, man. With all these assassins building ancile shifters and shit, like, you do no damage, you die. I think she's garbage.
The reason why I put him B is he can run a game.
Yeah.
He has decent cleared the jungle. See, the reason why Season 8 hurts Ullr chat is because of the starter items, right? It's like,
yeah,
you got to get a starter item, so it kind of delays his overall pen build.
Top heavy tier list.
He's actually a very unsafe hunter because he doesn't have any CC immunity. The one thing that made Ullr stand out 2 years ago was that he just did insane amounts of damage at level 2. He would just dominate the lane at level 2, snowball his lead. Anyone that comes into lane, because he's ahead, he would just one-shot you with his 3-1 combo. But Hi-Rez nerfed his damage. And now he just doesn't do enough damage to do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Ullr does no damage.
And because of that, he's just not strong. He's very unsafe.
Yeah,
like I said, no CC immune, no real
unsafe,
ultimate ability. He's just pure damage. He's like a Merlin. If you take away Merlin's damage, he's useless. You take away Ullr's damage, he's useless.
Yeah,
and that's basically what happened here. He doesn't really have a good build path anymore.
Yeah.
Where it's like, damn, 3 items, Ullr just outtrades everybody. It's just not true anymore. Hunters that go Devos, Destal, just outtrade him. They don't care about his poke. Ullr will 3-1 them for 200 and 150, and then they just heal it up on the next wave, and they're back to full HP. So,
but that's the same argument. I would argue for Scotty. Like, Scotty wants to 3-1 you, but I don't think Scotty's damage is that crazy either, and I think he just heal it up.
He's not as dominant as he was before. He doesn't do as much damage as he did before. He's not safe, and because of those things, he's just, he's almost not pickable, in my opinion. He's almost not pickable. So we're gonna leave him B because I think he's B+. I think I'm gonna go with B+ because he's actually the buff 2 is actually a very good poke now because you can hit two darts relatively easily.
Someone just said I need to give Xbel a useful ult.
Even at decent range. And
blind the whole team, turn their monitors
so
off.
1, he has good jungle clear because of his 1. 2, he has good lane presence because, again, we're talking about average ranked. In average ranked, a lot of people don't know how to stay away from his bolas. They're like, oh, his bolas, I gotta run away and let him out clear me. You know what I mean? In top level rank games or SPL, bolas are not a problem. But in a lot of the games, in your regular rank games, a lot of people are like, how do you deal with X-Ball and his bolas? A lot of people don't know how to do that, and so they just let
people really not know how to do that.
So that's 1. 2, he has a very good steroid for the late game. He has decent lane presence.
Talking about his 1 power.
His 1v1 really isn't that good because he doesn't really have anything to threaten the other ADC with an all-in. You can 2 as a X-Ball and the...
Let me relog. Actually, wait, is it up yet? Oh, nice.
The other ADC, dashes away, and then X-Ball dashes after him, and then you get a couple autos off, and then he just walks away, right? His all-in is just not that potent.
Yeah.
The damage isn't there, but he has decent lane presence. He has a great late game. He's relatively hard to gank, and his ultimate is a very good teamfight ult.
Awesome.
Although you don't really get a lot of value in ranked from his ult because you need to be pretty coordinated to use that time.
Yeah, that's why you asked. That's why you said he has a useless ult. Because it's kind of hard to get a good X-Ball in ranked. Because you have to coordinate like your engage with your X-Ball.
Yeah, he's like decent in lane, okay late game. Doesn't really have great 1v1 potential. He also has a pretty decent counter matchups. All these gods that are above him can solo him relatively easily.
Yeah, he gets shit
Even
on.
Neith can solo him pretty easily, but
True.
You know, she's still B+ because of all the things we said before. So we'll probably just leave him B+. He has potential, just not quite there yet.
I think that's
his kit is just not that good. That's really what it comes down. His kit is just
not that good. Final thoughts: Izanami, Scotty, AMC down. No one really up. Just those three down, to be honest. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction to Tierlist while servers were down. Let's play some ranked.